your fasting blood sugar. So if it is beyond that level, then beyond the level of 6.7, then we say that you could have diabetes.
Okay.
So that is just one of the areas of diagnosis. We also have other ways of trying to diagnose this by oral glucose tolerance tests, and using the glycated hemoglobin tests, and to check all that.
But so is there a link between sugar and diabetes?
Yes, to answer your question, yes, there is a link between sugar and diabetes. In fact, you asked about this intake of taking in sugary drinks. If I were to take just 1 or 2 bottles of my soda drinks, that's fine. But you know, every now and then studies are still going on, and it's advisable to reduce your soda intake because of the high glucose level in it. It actually puts you at risk. The more you take in all these fizzy, sugary things, your risk of getting diabetes actually increases, because it comes with weight gain and all that. As you take in the sugar, you gain more weight and all that, and that predisposes you to diabetes.
Becoming diabetic. And what are the symptoms? You started mentioning excessive. The person would feel like taking in more water,
yes,
and all of that. I drink water a lot. I have a collection.
Well, not necessarily, because we are in the tropics. So if somebody was drinking some water, it could also be because the person is getting dehydrated, so he wants to take in more fluids. But then, yes, the person could be drinking excessive amount of water, passing excessive amount of urine. He could be losing weight, even though he could be eating. And those are, and sometimes he also urinates a lot more at night. And coupled with other things, like he could also be having blurred vision, pedal edema, or the swollen legs, etc., recurrent boils. Yes, and people like that also, especially in the women, they normally have a lot of whitish vaginal discharge. So you add all these symptoms together with, of course, family history and the physical examination that you are seeing with the person, and then you could say, well, could this person be having diabetes or not?
Okay.
Yes.
We'll come back to you to ask what the family history could mean,
yes,
and then also what you can do as an individual if you find out that you are diabetic, or to stay away, to stay clear of it. Madam Elizabeth Esi Daniel, you, I mean, on a global level, you've been working with people, organizations that focus on diabetes. And let's talk about the Ghana story. How serious are cases of diabetes in Ghana?
Yeah, thanks for the question. To start with, Ghana is a global issue, but Ghana has not been left out. The sad part about us is, usually, we diagnose after death. When the person is dead, they do postmortem. It has come out that 34% of deaths are diabetes related.
Wow.
Then we are able to diagnose only 10%
of
the living too, because advocacy is not getting there. We're not getting the education out there, and awareness too is not getting there. And then now the statistics are even showing 1 out of every 9 people on the street has diabetes. Yeah. And
is it so in the last year or two, would you say it has grown?
It is steadily picking up. You see,
it's becoming worse.
We usually, even in vernacular, used to call it a sichire yare and a sikafo yare. It might interest you to know that the diagnoses are coming more from the rural areas now. And then secondly, it's now, previously, if you say somebody is diabetic, then it's a type 2 diabetes, an elderly person. But now the diagnosis age is coming as low as 35 years. They're being diagnosed as type 2 diabetics.
Okay. Doc, I'll come back to you on this. Mentioning type 2 diabetes bring to mind probably then there should be types of diabetes. And then also, is it at any age that you can be diagnosed as diabetic?
All right. So diabetes, like you said, has various types. You have type 1, type 2, and then what we call gestational diabetes. The type 1 is insulin dependent or early onset or juvenile onset diabetes. So that one, the person really needs insulin every day of his life. I mean, the pancreas is not making enough insulin for the body to work. You see, the essence of the insulin is that it drives.
Doc, let me just cut you briefly. Our man Jason Amo is currently at Osu to have a general conversation with people on the streets to find out if they even know that we are celebrating today. We are marking today as World Health Day with focus on diabetes and what people do know even about the disease. Then we'll come back in studio to continue the conversation.
Dokoro die wo moja nu mu na ma yare bebre eba owidie mu
nti wunim sa no enyema ben say na wo yese se na ebe ya wu ntimi enya diabetes yare ni bi
well I me hwe maduane die mu ye me hwe maduane die mu ye pa na me take sweet things so
na sisi aye wo doctors wo studio assembly wo ha pese obi se omo uni assembly
awo omo educate yen wo diabetes no ho pa ye especially in herbal drugs no I think say no momu eboa because enyo obi a na enya sika be call hospital nti say helps bi wo ho no na I think say no de ne bo no aya na e wo form na helps no so no minim say bebre eboa sa yare we so
okay Medasi bebre. So what she was saying is that she has no idea of the World Diabetes Day, but she knows that sugar is one of those things that can lead to having diabetes. Mainly the ideology is having so much carbohydrates in your system, but she's also advocating that maybe we get some education on the use of herbal drugs to fight diabetes or to control diabetes. Mpacho, I have another gentleman with me here. What's your name, sir?
My name is Emmanuel Ekeja.
Okay. Today is World Diabetes Day. Are you aware?
Yes, I'm aware about diabetes.
Okay. Now, speaking of diabetes as well, what do you know about it?
What I know about diabetes is some people will like to know the kind of things they used to eat. So the low sugar and the one that always has the sugar. So they will know how to do things they eat in order to reduce the sugar in their body system. So before you eat something, you better check the quality of the sugar they add into the type of product you are eating. So people will like to educate people, like students, about the situation about diabetes or the thing that will be the kind of stuff they are eating that will reduce them in body sugar, so to avoid anything.
We have some doctors in the studio. Is there a question you would like to pose to them?
Okay, my question is that the government have to teach their children, or the parents have to teach their children in other way, so that they will not be having too much blood sugar in their body. To avoid sugar.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. I have another gentleman who's going to speak to us shortly. Sir, please come to my side here. Thank you. Yes. So, and what's your Odin again?
Joseph Kujo.
Joseph Kujo. Joseph Mpacho. Da Mpacho. China na she camera ni mami wai. Mpacho. Unim say na World Diabetes Day.
But nye hunte na me buy. Me sin da kama na me. Me ba catch them.
Oh, okay. That yeah, that's any yate inti my advice is who dentist na wow. So we're here in Osu. My name is Jason, and that's some views from the public on diabetes and World Diabetes Day. And like Maury Pepin said, just a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. So as a typical Ghanaian, I'm grabbing my porridge. My name is Jason Amu.
All right, thank you very much, Jason. And we're back in studio to quickly wrap up this conversation. Doc, you're helping us understand the types and then whether at any age one can be diagnosed as diabetic.
Yes, so I was talking about the type 1 diabetes, so juvenile onset or early onset diabetes. So the person doesn't have insulin. The function of the insulin, that is that it drives sugar into the cells for the cells to use. But in the absence of the insulin, you have a lot of glucose in the blood,
Okay.
where it is not needed to work, or it is not where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to go into the cells to work. So you have a lot of blood in the sugar in the blood, and then with very little in the cells. So insulin drives this sugar into the cells to work.
Okay.
So people with this type 1 or juvenile onset diabetes, they don't make insulin, and so the person needs to get insulin every day. And those ones normally have a genetic predisposition. Let's say born with it, or the parents were diabetic and they were born with it.
Okay.
Then that's just about 10% of the diabetes that we normally see.
Okay.
Then the vast majority of the diabetes, that is about 90% of them, is what we call a type 2 or maturity onset. It comes with lifestyles. You are not exercising enough. You have grown very obese, or you are overweight with a lot of belly fat. You are not eating enough fruits and vegetables. So you are smoking. You are drinking so much alcohol. So it's kind of a lifestyle type 2. That's called the type 2 diabetes. Then we have
that is normally in the adult
exactly
range.
in the adult range. So that one normally after the age of 40, you know, with lifestyle, with lack of physical activity, you are growing obese, you are drinking so much alcohol, you are smoking.
And still on that, let me bring you in, madam. One lady asked a question about maybe medication, and was suggesting that she would rather use herbal medication. You know, she would prefer herbal medication if there is any. And so is there anything like that? And in the Ghanaian context?
Yeah, to understand if you can use herbal medication, you should understand the dynamics of diabetes itself. There is a lack of insulin. What's the herb? Is it going to increase your insulin? Is it going to stimulate? At what level is your pancreas in? Let's not forget, any drug you take in, the liver must work on it and the kidney must excrete it. Now, you have diabetes already, the liver is weak, the kidney is working extra hard. You put in a herb, the kidney must double up, the liver must also double up, and at the end of the day, you shut both of them down. So what we've realized is that most of the time they will take the herb and it will look like they're doing well.
Okay.
But after some few months, they run downstream and you can't stop it.
What would the advice be?
Please, if you've got diabetes, it's only 4 things. Just like you can't drive without covering your dashboard. If you've got diabetes, test your sugar regularly. That gives you an idea whether you're deteriorating or you're getting better. Then take your medication given to you at the hospital as prescribed.
Okay.
Then go for your follow-up exercise. Change your lifestyle by eating healthy. My slogan is, don't put something in your mouth when you don't know what you're going to gain out of it. And last but not the least, exercise and activity.
Okay. Doc, what can we do in conclusion? There are those who do not know whether they are diabetic or not and do not want to get it. So what can we do as preventive measures so not to get there if we are not already there?
Okay, so preventive, like she was saying, is to ensure that your lifestyle, you take good care of your lifestyle, you exercise more, you cut out smoking and alcohol, you reduce your level of soda intakes, you know, these refined sugars, the refined sugars, you reduce them, you exercise, you eat more fruits and vegetables, you lose weight if you are overweight or obese, and then you exercise, like we said. Now, we want people to also check their sugar levels and be sure that there's no diabetes lurking anywhere. The simple ones that we normally do in the clinics is to come in on an overnight fast. You don't eat, and then you come in and we check your sugar in the morning. So that's called a fasting blood sugar. The other test that we can use to check out for the diabetes, like I mentioned earlier, but these are the very common test, is the fasting blood sugar.
Okay, so I'll give the final word to you, Auntie Elizabeth. In conclusion, what should we do in helping the fight against diabetes in the country?
As you saw on the comments from the public, creating of awareness.
Okay.
But creating awareness means money. If you don't put in money to create the awareness, it wouldn't get there. So we also entreating on our government. Most of the time, when it comes to public health, advocacy, education, they don't put in much effort.
Right.
Our companies are interested in sponsoring beauty pageants and lottery stuff, but they're not interested in things that even we could print leaflets. Yeah, we could print leaflets. The TV stations too. If you could give slots once a while,
like we have done.
But you only do it during the day.
No,
there's a celebration.
not so. Okay, all right. But thanks for bringing it to our attention. Certainly, TV3 always goes the extra mile to educate the public. But thank you very much, Dr. Patrick Amomensah, Senior Medical Officer in charge of the Kaneshie Polyclinic, and then also Madam Elizabeth A.C. Denyo. She is the chairperson of the International Diabetes Federation West Africa. And clearly, just be careful and go for those tests if you are unsure.